Hey, welcome back to another tier list video. And in today's video, I thought, why not rank everything I watched in August 2021? So I'll be honest, I don't actually watch as much as I usually watch in a month, this month in August. It was a busy month, a lot was happening, a lot was going on. I feel like stuff is slowly starting to get a bit like more normal compared to how it was this time last year. So it just means stuff's been a lot busier and a lot more frantic and a lot more crazy. However, I still did have time to watch some things, and I thought, why not rank them? Why not rank them for fun? You know what I mean? Okay, so obviously here we have the S tier. You want to be on S tier. S tier is the best. If you're on S tier, that means you're like arguably perfect. If your movie's on S tier, your movie is arguably perfect. A is like super good. A is like great. A is fantastic. A is also really good to be on. B is good. It's good. It's near the top, so that's great. C is for could have been better. Could have been better. D is for decent. E and F, you don't really want to be on these tiers. These are the crappy tiers, and you don't really want to be there. If you find yourself on the F or E tier, it might be time to change something. Just change something, and become better. Become something better. Become something greater.
Stop it. Get some help.
Okay, let's get into this. So as you can see here, these are not all movies. There's a few TV series in here. There's a few like sort of TV specials, like I guess you could say this, the Grand Tour Lochdown. It's like a TV special almost. Then we have Love Island, which is a series. Yes, that was on my tier list this month. Woo! And then we got Brandy Cherry Flavor, which was a Netflix show, and that's also on here. Sorry, my eyes are like getting a bit watery from this light. I should probably turn it down a bit, but then it's going to mess up my settings. Anyway, let's get into this. So first up we have Love Island Season 7 UK. Where do I even start with this one? So I have two friends, and they, at the beginning of last month I think actually, suggested I check out Love Island UK. And being a fan of really crappy reality TV, I was like, okay, let me give it a go. And then I got super hooked on it. Some might even say obsessed. And I watched like every episode of it. And it was a lot of fun. It's gonna go B tier. Look, the finale sucked. I didn't like the finale. But everything else was really entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, like I really enjoyed the show. I actually started looking forward to certain episodes, believe it or not. So that's why it's at B tier. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, I had a good time. So Love Island UK Season 7 is on B tier. Next up we have The Suicide Squad, directed and written by James Gunn. It was a lot of fun. You guys would have seen this movie in the Suicide Squad tier list video I made, which only had 2 films on it. But as you remember from that went to S tier. And once again it's going S tier here. This was probably the best thing I watched this whole month. Personally for me. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And just once again, James Gunn is masterclass at directing ensemble casts. And this film was just amazing. I honestly wouldn't change anything. I absolutely loved everything about it. It's very James Gunn. It's very original. It's very his style. You could tell he made the movie he wanted to make, which I really like and I really do appreciate. So that's why it's at S tier. It was great. And then I decided to watch Slither, which was the one James Gunn film I hadn't seen. I'd seen his other films before that, but I hadn't seen this one, and I really enjoyed this one. It's going to go B tier. We'll put it in front of Love Island. It's a lot of fun. It's sort of had like a John Carpenter vibe to it at times, and I really thought that was good. And as like a first film, I thought James Gunn did a fantastic job with this one. So yeah, it's gonna go B for best. I really enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, there's some scenes where I was like, okay, that's a bit too far-fetched or a bit over the top, and I don't feel like certain scenes were as good as other scenes in the film. But as I said, it is a first film for him. He even has a cameo in the film, which I did appreciate. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun film. I watched it like a couple hours after I'd seen The Suicide Squad in cinemas, and I was house sitting in a house. I got out a glass of wine and I watched Slither, and it was a great evening. I had a good time. So Slither was great. If you guys haven't seen it and you're a fan of James Gunn, I do recommend checking it out. It is a fun film. Definitely not his best work, but as I said, it's a first film. It's a first film, so you got to bear that in mind when you talk about it. It's good. You should check it out. It's good. Next up, we have the Grand Tour Lochdown, and this is going to go D for decent. I really like the Grand Tour. I really liked Top Gear, but unfortunately, this one just felt a bit bland for me personally. And there were some funny scenes in them. I like seeing all these guys interact with each other. They're a lot of fun to see on screen, but it just was a bit bland and boring for me. I've seen better from these guys, and unfortunately, the special wasn't my favourite of theirs. I do understand as well that I think they had to make this one during the lockdown or the pandemic, so I understand that it probably wasn't exactly what they envisioned for the special, but at the same time, it just didn't land for me personally. But as I said, there are some really fun sequences and it's some really fun scenes, and if you guys are a fan of Top Gear or the Grand Tour, you should check it out still, and if you are a fan of that, you probably already have checked it out. So anyway, moving along, then we have Fast and Furious 9, Fast 9. D for decent. Okay, I got a confession to make. This is the first Fast and Furious movie I saw since Tokyo Drift. I kid you not. I kid you not. It's the first. It's the Fast and Furious movie I saw since Tokyo Drift. And this film was wild. It was wild. Like, I'm gonna be honest, this film was just crazy. It was wild. Luckily, I didn't find it to be too confusing. And I kind of could pick up on where the story was at quite fast, which I did appreciate. So like, if you haven't been following the Fast and Furious films, I kind of feel like to a certain extent you can just come into this one and still have a good time, because I did have a lot of fun with it, and I did laugh a lot as well. There's a, like, I guess some would consider this a spoiler, but I don't really care at this point. There's a cameo of Cardi B in this film. Cardi B is in this film, and I like literally laughed out loud in the cinema. It was fantastic. So it's going to go D for decent because, look, it's not the best film ever. It's far from the best film ever. However, it is a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it, and it did make me want to go back and watch the other ones, which is a testament to what sort of film this is. It's a fun action film. I watched it in the cinema as well, which is great, which did make me enjoy it more. If I had to watch this by myself, alone in my room, I probably would hate it, but I watched it in the cinema with a bunch of friends, and I had a good time. It was fun. So it's going to go D for decent. Next up, we have 10 Cloverfield Lane. I watched this one with my one friend Luke, and he hadn't seen it before. I had seen this one before quite a while ago, and once again, it is fantastic. It's going to go high B tier. It's a fantastic film. Pretty much what happens is there's this one character, and she is involved in a car accident, and then she wakes up in a bunker with a bunch of weird people, and they're pretty much saying to her that she cannot leave the bunker because she will die essentially, and that the world is not what it was before she was in an accident. And then we sort of start to figure out things from the character's perspective, the character who was involved in the car accident, and it's super interesting, very, very thrilling, very engaging, very enticing, and it's a lot of fun, and it is definitely worth a watch, especially if you are into thrillers. It's a good watch. Highly recommend it. In my opinion, it is the best Cloverfield film. And I know comparing it to the other two, that's kind of a easy comparison because I don't really like the other two that much, especially the third one. That one sucked. But this is a good film. You guys should check it out. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's in it, and so is John Goodman, and they just do a fantastic job. It's really good. You should check it out. It's super underrated, and more people should be talking about it, and more people should be watching it, in my opinion. Okay, and then next up we have Wrong Turn 2021, and this is going F tier. I don't really want to talk about why I ended up watching this film, but I did, and unfortunately I did not like it at all. I could see why some people would enjoy it, and I could see why it would be sort of fun in a group setting, but unfortunately this film did not do it for me. This wasn't great for me. It was definitely the worst thing I've watched this whole month, and by far. Okay, next up we have The Jungle Cruise. Sorry, just Jungle Cruise. There's no the there, it's just Jungle Cruise. This is going to go D for decent. It's going to go there. There's some enjoyments in this film. There's some things I liked about it. Unfortunately, the film for me feels super long, feels super drawn out. And for me, to be honest, if this film did not have Emily Blunt, Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Jesse Plemons, I don't think I would have enjoyed it at all, to be honest. I think they are like the only saving grace in this film. It does sort of at times feel like it has a bit of like an Indiana Jones vibe, which I did like. And there are some fun adventure action sequences, but tonally I feel like this film is a bit all over the place at times, and I just did feel like it was way too long for what it needed to be. But that being said, there was a sequel announced for this film, and I kind of am interested in what that's going to be. I'm looking forward to what this film franchise could turn into. I do like that adventure aspect. We haven't really got like a super fun Disney adventure film in a while, and although this film wasn't great, I feel like it was close to being a really fun, entertaining adventure film, and there was some enjoyment in it, so that's why it's D for decent. It's good, wasn't great, but I did enjoy it. Cool, moving on. Next up we have brand new cherry flavor. Brand new cherry flavor. And now this is going to go C tier. Okay, this is a Netflix series, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I watched it in like 2 days because I couldn't stop watching it. It is a horror series. It has Rosa Salazar, I think that's how you say her name. She was in Alita Battle Angel. She was in Undone, the Amazon show. No, was it Undone? I think it was. I think it was called Undone. It was like an animated show. And she is just, once again, fantastic in here. Guys, this series is freaking weird. It's freaking weird. It's got a horror vibe to it. It's got some witch stuff in it, which I know some people aren't really a fan of. But I thought the series was a lot of fun, although it does get super weird and super strange at times, and I did have to like literally look away at times because of how disturbing it was. There was this one super weird scene in the series that involves this one guy's arm and our main character Lisa's body, and it was so weird and it was so strange. And one of my friends actually stopped watching the show at this point because they couldn't take it anymore. So if you're onto that sort of stuff, check this one out. But it's one of those series that I won't actually recommend to people because of how weird and strange it is. But I did have some enjoyment in it. Next up we have Free Guy, and this is going... Oof, this might even go S tier for me. I'm putting this in S tier. I had no idea at how much I was going to enjoy this film. I enjoyed the trailers, I enjoyed the promo material, I like Ryan Reynolds, but going into this film I did not expect to love it as much as I did. It was so much fun. It's one of those video game sort of movies that does it right. You can kind of tell that people who were a fan of video games were involved in the process of making this film, which isn't always the case for other video game film adaptations. And you guys know what I mean. Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, you get what I'm saying. So I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a lot of fun. Some great like little references and Easter eggs to video game properties, to film properties. Some great cameos in this film. There's one cameo that literally blew my mind in this movie, and I like, it was amazing. It was like perfect. It's a lot of fun. It's also only showing in theaters, so go watch it in the cinemas, guys. Go. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Ryan Reynolds is great. We also have Taika Waititi in this film. He's also really fun. I loved him in this. And there's just a lot of other great cast members in this film as well. It's a really fun time at the cinemas, and it definitely has been one of my biggest surprises of this year so far. I loved it. Loved it. Next up we have The Green Knight. And The Green Knight with the red poster is going to A tier. I really enjoyed this film. I really enjoyed this film. This film was directed by David Lowery, who did A Ghost Story with Casey Affleck. And once again, just stylistically, this film is stunning. Production design stunning, cinematography stunning, set design stunning, costumes are stunning, everything else is stunning. This film has Dev Patel portraying Sir Gawain, who's a knight. And this film is also really strange and weird. I know some of my friends who watched this and they did not like this film at all, and I get it. It is very weird. It's very sort of arty, very symbolic, very strange. But this film was very different to what I was thinking it was going to be. I feel like even from the trailers, the film we actually got was very different to what I was expecting, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it was definitely one of the most memorable things I watched this whole month. There's some great performances in this film, and as I said, just everything looks beautiful in this movie. Everything. And there's a lot of like really powerful messages in this film, I feel like. That I sort of had to think about a little bit after seeing the film, but it is a very sort of thought-provoking film in my opinion, and one that I don't think people should skip on. I think you guys should definitely try to check out The Green Knight. I thought it was really good, very good. I think it's definitely going to get some awards buzz towards the end of the year. It's a good film. Check it out. It's good. It's great. Next up we have CODA, and this one I saw on Apple TV. And once again, this film was a big surprise to me. It's going to go A tier. So CODA stands for Child of Deaf Adults, and this film is pretty much about that. It's about this child who is wanting to become a singer, but she's struggling to do that because of like the family dynamic that she's in, being the only one who can hear and who isn't deaf. And I thought this film was just really, really wholesome, really, really engaging in some great performances, and really, really heartwarming, but also sometimes quite sad and quite like upsetting. But I really did enjoy this film. I thought it was great. It feels very real and authentic, which I did like. Okay, then we have Rock of Ages, and I thought I had watched this film a while ago, but I cannot actually remember if I had or did watch it. And this was a lot of fun. I watched this with some friends, and it was great. Tom Cruise in this film is like immaculate. He's fantastic. This film's gonna go B tier. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's not the best movie ever, I get that, but it's so much fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, as I said, Tom Cruise in this movie. It's a lot of fun with some great tracks, obviously, some great performances, some great music in the film, obviously, because it's called Rock of Freaking Ages. It was good. You guys should check it out if you haven't yet. It's fun. Came out in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. It's a good time. It's a good time. Next up, we have Annette. Next up, we have Annette. Next up, we have Annette. This film was the weirdest thing I've seen this whole year by far. I thought maybe the Green Knight was the weirdest thing. I thought brandy cherry flavor was the weirdest. No, it was Annette. Annette's gonna go B tier. This film was so weird. It was so weird. I loved it to a certain extent, but I also didn't like it to a certain extent. It's one of those films that I haven't been able to get out of my head since watching it. I know it was only like 2 days ago that I watched this film, but I haven't stopped thinking about it. Pretty much follows a character who's a stand-up comedian and a character who's an opera singer. And then they have a baby, and stuff just gets really strange. Adam Driver's in this film. He's great. We see his butt in this film. We see Adam Driver's butt in this film. So if people are keen for that, there we go. I really don't know like what to actually say about this film without giving anything away of how weird it actually gets. But I will say this. People are complaining about all the spin-offs, about all the sequels, about all the comic book movies, about all the action films, about all the summer blockbusters. But then they won't watch something like this, which is entirely original, which is entirely its own thing. And that's when I have a problem. If you guys are complaining that cinema is too predictable these days, go watch this film. This is what you're looking for. It is so weird. It's so different to anything I've ever seen before. And it was one of those films I couldn't stop watching. It was just like, I feel like these more original films that people don't watch is the reason why we're getting all the summer blockbusters, or the comic book movies, or the action films, or the sequels, or the prequels, or the spin-offs. It's because people aren't watching films like this. It is crazy. It is a bit all over the place. It does go on a bit long in my opinion, but there are great performances in it, and I guarantee you, you have never seen something like this in your entire life. Go watch it. Okay, then we have The Grave of the Fireflies. It's a Studio Ghibli film, and this is going straight to S tier. This is by far the saddest Studio Ghibli film I've ever seen in my life. It broke me, and I'm actually getting like a little emotional just sitting here thinking about this movie. It pretty much follows these two orphan children who are dealing with the aftermath of World War II in the area in Japan, and it's honestly heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking, and I'm trying not to like tear up here. Studio Ghibli films are amazing because they put you into the world so well. You are invested in the world. You're invested in the characters. You're invested in the setting. And when they do something that with something like World War II, it's very hard to watch at times, and it's very devastating, it's very sad. And this film was that for me. It was incredibly sad. And it was great. Like, you should definitely watch it, but it was heartbreaking. And yeah, I didn't even know about this film until I watched it recently. And yeah, it's not a kids movie because it's animated. Trust me. It's harsh. It's rough. It's definitely worth watching. Okay, next up we have Amelie. It's a French film. This is a film that I watched years ago, I think. I can remember watching it a while ago, and I decided to rewatch it, and it's gonna go S tier. It's so much fun. This film is great. The directing is great. The editing is great. The cinematography is great. The music's great. The acting is great. The story's great. Everything about it is great. It is so heartwarming. It's so uplifting. It is so inspirational. This film came out in 2001, and it still to this day feels like it could have come out yesterday. That's just how well made and well structured and well crafted this film is. You can tell that a lot of passion and energy was put into making this movie, and the results are just perfection. It is such a good film. I absolutely loved it, and it will be one of those films that I'll just probably love forever. It is super, super great. I do love it a lot. Yeah, as I said, great cinematography, great production design, great acting, great story, great editing. I love the editing in this film a lot. Great music and great direction. It is great. I do enjoy it, and that's what's on S tier. Cool, guys, so that is my tier list for August 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you watched this month, and let me know what would be on your S tier for this month. This was a lot of fun to make. I'll probably do one of these for September as well. Planning to see a lot more stuff in September, but we'll see. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you guys next week for the next tier list video. And until then, bye bye. See you soon. Bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.